Hi guys, welcome to another show on the Tiebreak channel. This is me, Aaron, and I'm delighted to say once again I'm joined by my good friend, the Cricket World editor, John Pennington. John, how are you doing today?
Good, thanks Aaron. Hello everybody.
Hi guys. So, John, it's been another busy week in the world of sport, and England's resurgence seems to be continuing, doesn't it, John, in the cricket field?
It is. They've had a super couple of days. Well, I say a couple of days. It's at lunch at day 2 at the moment. So a really good first 4 sessions down at the Oval. You win a toss on that pitch. You bowl first. You have to bowl the opposition out cheaply, which is exactly what they did. 148 all out. You don't win many games of cricket batting first, scoring that many runs, and then England have looked very good with the bat as well. So they really have continued where they left off up at Old Trafford.
Absolutely, and more and more. I mean, I think we did talk about it at the start of the series, didn't we? That it was going to be difficult for India. But it hasn't so much been the bowling. But as you say, it's been the batting has really been great as England's bowling has been. I mean, there's been a lack of almost application, hasn't there, from England, and especially in the last game and now again sort of on day 1 yesterday.
You're breaking up a little bit, Aaron, but I think you're sort of talking about England's bowling. In terms of obviously James Anderson, Stuart Broad leading the line, but what impressed me about their bowling, of course, is the way that Chris Woakes and Chris Jordan really performed very well as well. It's fairly clear from the previous games that they weren't quite performing as well as Anderson and Broad, but good to see them taking the lion's share of the wickets this time around.
No, completely. And I was just saying as well, JP, can you hear me a bit better now, JP?
Yeah, a little bit better.
Yeah, I was just saying that I think from India's point of view, the lack of application in their batsmen is probably something that's disappointed them quite a lot, isn't it? I mean, I'm sure they're expecting more, especially guys like Pujara, Kohli. It's been disappointing how their series has gone so far.
Yeah, I think part of that comes from the fact that they don't play 5 Test series, and clearly Anderson and Broad have absolutely got their number, and they just can't sort of break free. And there's possibly a sort of a mental element there as well. They need to go away and work on it. I suppose in a way for India, touring England is a bit like their sort of finishing school, and they're not quite ready for it yet. These young Indian players, give them 3-4 years, and it might be a different story.
Sure. I mean, and I was reading a very interesting article yesterday, and it was basically just alluding to the fact that a lot of these Indian batsmen, as you say, 5 Test series, a lot of them are so, bereft of confidence that you almost got the feeling yesterday morning they didn't want to play many balls at all. And as someone was saying, even if it's swinging around and stuff, if you're a little bit more confident, you'll be a bit more assured in your stroke play. Like Kohli, he just left one and he didn't want to play a shot. You could see he just didn't want to play too many balls at all.
Yeah, you've still got to go out and try and score runs as well as survive. I think that's something that Sam Robson's been trying to do as well. He was dismissed this morning, but rather than just saying, I'm going to hang in, saying, I'm going to go out and play positively, and that often helps you out of if you are in a bit of a rut, particularly against the moving ball, because it means the opposition has to sort of defend a little bit and change what they're doing, which is, obviously what you're always trying to do, is try and do what your opponents least expect.
No, that's right. And JP, as well as on the international scene, it's been a very interesting week, hasn't it, in the Caribbean Premier League. I think, obviously we had the charity match and we've got the finals today. So what are your thoughts on the Caribbean Premier League, JP?
Yeah, I mean, the Caribbean Premier League's been fantastic drama all the way through, and we hope that it's a final. Obviously, Barbados almost snuck into the final in the end because there's a few interesting results on the final weekend of group games that they sort of snuck in via the back door, and the other 3 teams all had to play off. But Guyana are through, and it should be a cracking game. And other games here, and of course this weekend we've got Mahela Javadena is in the middle of his final Test innings at the moment, so that's be sad to see him go from Test cricket as well. But on the final, we'll also watch him back tomorrow.
Absolutely, he's been a fantastic ambassador for the game, hasn't he? Just the way he's carried himself, and he's just been a model of consistency as well, hasn't he? So great career for him.
Yeah, I didn't get much of that one, Aaron. So let's move on to another sport, shall we? Yeah, just update us on what's been happening over in tennis this week. Yeah,
so as we talked about last week, JP, Nadal obviously pulled out of both Toronto and Cincinnati, the 2 big masters before the US Open. We touched on Tsonga's kind of great form last week. Obviously, he took out Djokovic, he took out Murray, and he continued that. He went on to the final and he beat Federer in the final. So Tsonga looked really good, but Tsonga's always been the kind of player that can blow hot and cold. And sure enough, in Cincinnati this week, he he lost in the first round. And then Djokovic had another really bizarre loss, like how he lost to Tsonga last week. He lost to Tommy Robredo, a guy that he hasn't lost to in 9 years. So I still stand by my prediction. I still think come the US Open, Djokovic is going to be fine. He's got the early rounds to play himself in against guys who are nowhere near even Robredo's ranking. He's obviously had a lot of things going on with winning Wimbledon, and he obviously got married. And as Lisa said, we can't expect these guys to turn it on for every Masters. And then Federer is looking really good at the moment again. He had to play Andy Murray last night, and Murray obviously still searching for that first win against a top 10 player since he won Wimbledon last year. And Federer's been attacking the net quite a lot, serving and volleying, won the first set 6-3. Second set was bizarre though. Murray was a double break up, and at that level, a double break is almost, well, you're almost assured of winning the set, but Federer kind of came back and managed to get 3 breaks in a row and won the match in straight sets, so he's actually looking quite good to win this title now.
Yeah, I mean, I was just sort of going to say about Federer, with Djokovic not in great form, obviously Murray not able to win against the top 10 players, should we now be looking at him as a major threat for the US Open?
Well, I think we have to. I think we have to put him as one of the guys that could actually be a favourite, because, as you say, Nadal's question mark, he's going to announce next week whether he's even playing, and by all accounts he's not able to hit the ball with a two-handed backhand yet. So even if he does play, you have to wonder just what sort of match fitness he has coming in. Djokovic has a few question marks. As I say, I think he'll be back, but obviously there are some doubts around him. And Murray, I don't think he's quite there to win a slam just yet. I think next year you're going to see him back in the mix again. So, and obviously Wawrinka had that great Australian Open, but he's been very up and down since then. So Federer certainly, the way things are, it does seem like things are falling into place for him to have a real good shot at this. So,
yeah, I think I agree with you there, and yes, you've got to sort of look at Federer as sort of a different light now moving into the US Open, and spot on with Murray as well. I wasn't convinced that he'd have a great year this year after having a bit of time out due to injury as well, which I know we've talked about before.
No, completely. I think it's always tough, isn't it, when you come back from such a long layoff, and probably it's a mental thing as well. He's lost to a few guys that in the past he would beat fairly easily, but there are some positives there for Murray. I mean, he beat John Isner the round before. He played Federer, and he saved 2 match points in that match. And I thought that was quite an encouraging win for him, because he hasn't beaten many top 20 players this year, and he's lost a lot of close matches. So I did feel there were signs there that he can come through a tight match like that. Might stand him in some good stead as well. So yeah, that's a fair bit of tennis there to look forward to. Obviously, we've got the semi-finals later on. And obviously the Premiership football starts today, doesn't it, JP? So what are your thoughts with regards to that?
Well, it's going to be interesting. There's a lot of money been spent over the summer. We've got some exciting players in the Premier League. Alexis Sanchez has come over, and Louis van Arlekel's taking charge of United. All this Swansea City have just scored. So that's a debut to forget so far. And they've lost a player due to injury. So early days yet, but no, I think it could. We always say this, I'm sure, but it could be a very interesting season. Chelsea have spent heavily to reinforce their squad, but so Manchester City. So it's going to be between those three, and whether Liverpool and Arsenal can mount a challenge as well, it remains to be seen. Of course, my football team is Yeovil Town, and people say at the start of the football season today, well, we've already lost twice. We're out of the League Cup already, so yes, I do get excited about the Premier League, but for me the football season's already started, but hasn't started, if you like, because my team has not done very well at all. But no, looking forward to the Premier League. It's always a bit sort of strange to have sort of cricket going on. There's also a lot of rugby around the Premier League. So I think, well, is it back to football already? But no, that's the way of the world, and yeah, it should be a very interesting season. It could well be one that maybe goes down to the wire with 3 or even 4 teams competing for the title all the way through, and then that would be very exciting.
It certainly would. I mean, last year was quite an exciting finish, wasn't it? I mean, for a little while there, Liverpool looked almost nailed on, didn't they, last year? Then all of a sudden it just got a little bit tense, and people look at that Gerrard slip, don't they, as being such a big turning point last year for them.
Yeah, I mean, that sort of ended up being the symbol, hasn't it, of Liverpool's demise. I think Manchester City, having won it before, that really gave them that steel, that edge at the end, saying, look, we've done this before, we know what to do in this situation. And as a Liverpool team that hasn't really Gerrard was involved and they sort of finished second to United a few years back, but not many of the others would have been. So they'll be strong for that experience. Obviously, they lost Luis Suarez, but again, they brought in a lot of players as well. So it'll be very interesting to see how they gel. I just get the feeling that might have been their best chance to win for a while, because United weren't as strong last year. Chelsea were just getting used to life under Mourinho again. They will be stronger this year, so I'm not sure whether Liverpool will have as good a chance again, but hey, it would be interesting to see me prove wrong again.
Absolutely, and JP, it's funny, we talked about Manchester City kind of coming back from behind last year and winning the league. I think we've been talking quite a bit this week, haven't we, about comebacks in sport and some of the best sporting comebacks, and obviously we put that forward to our viewers. So don't forget, guys, to get in touch via Twitter and let me and JP know what you think are the best sporting comebacks that you've ever seen. It could be from any sport across the board. We've had some very interesting ones so far, but we'll keep it going for another week or two. And the best ones, the ones that we read out, you'll win a Bones original shirt like the one that I'm wearing right now. So it'd be quite interesting, wouldn't it, JP, just to hear people's thoughts on that? Because obviously there's so many sports across the board that I can imagine there's going to be quite a lot of wide-ranging contenders there.
Yeah, I mean, part of one of the things that really makes sport very exciting is great comebacks, and Manchester United, of course, one of the greatest of all times to win the European Cup back in '99. Liverpool did it 6 years later, 3-0 down to AC Milan, and they came back and won. More recently, you've got the Ryder Cup a couple of years ago. Europe were dead and buried. They pretty much needed to win all of the singles, and they did, and they won it on the last pair, I think, Martin Keimer. The one really sticks in my mind for most recently is the America's Cup, where Ben Ainsley's team were 7 or 8 races down, had to win the remaining 8 or 9, and they did. I mean, that's just a remarkable achievement. So, and that's part of what makes sport exciting is the thrill of them. Well, can they come back and follow the underdog, I suppose. So, it'd be interesting to see if our followers can come up with any more.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, keep them coming, guys. We love hearing from you. And as well, I think we had Liesl Huber on the show last week, and she thoroughly enjoyed your questions as well. And she told me that if you guys have any more questions for her, just use the hashtag #AskLiesl, and she'll be more than happy to answer them for you as well. So yeah, again, that was quite interesting, wasn't it, JP, to hear from someone who's actually a current professional. It kind of added on to a lot of things that you have been speaking to Kevin Peterson about, wasn't it? Looking at the mental aspect versus the actual playing side, things that we can take for granted at times.
Yeah, very much. Really interesting to chat to her and about, as you say, the mental side of things, also the physical, and the way how she looks at professional sport, her sport, in a probably a different way that certainly I do as somebody who hasn't played at the very highest level. So they're always fascinating to chat to people like that.
Absolutely. Well, JP, once again, thanks so much for your time today. And guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and to follow us on Tiebreak at Tiebreak Sports. And we look forward to seeing you again next week. Cheers, guys.